in white armor, cold as a shot from a gun. If you should look for a man who loves danger, to love is a stranger, this man is the one.
Yes, well, I have great faith in statistics, Mr. Adamant.
Yes, well, apart from these statistics, have you any other evidence?
I don't need any other evidence. Mathematically, we're right. If I'm concerned with security, you understand, if there's even the slightest risk of a breach.
Yes, of course.
May I offer you a sherry?
Please, dry. Now, these men who have died, have they anything in common?
No, nothing of significance, anyway.
Apart from their importance to the nation.
Yes. And the fact that they were married, and the fact that they were human, and the fact that they were men.
You'll excuse me, but have you anything else on your mind at the moment?
No. Should I have?
Thank you. Then please allow me to recapitulate. An unusual number of important men have died, often during vital negotiations to this country, of strokes or heart attacks, and they appear to have little in common except that they were married.
And this morning, old Harry Marshall. As a generous fellow, Harry. We were to go to Geneva together tomorrow. An international meeting of security services.
I see.
As he just died out here in St. James's, just like that. He was on his way over here to see me. We occasionally have a breakfast meeting.
Then you and he have something in common.
What?
This meeting of the security services.
Oh, yes. Well, we always go together, but different departments, though. Oh, it's one of these pigeonhole affairs where nobody seems to know what anybody else is doing. The CIA talk about their troubles. The French DST talk about theirs. We talk about ours. Well, sometimes something comes of it, but usually it's just talk.
And he left Whitehall to come to your office, a mere 10 minutes walk.
Yes, that's as much as he ever did. Pall Mall was the end of the horizon to him.
Was he married?
No. Harry wasn't married. Married to the Reform, more like it. And you don't often find women in there.
Then without even marriage as a common factor, there appears no starting point whatsoever, except, of course, the flag.
Yes. He brought it on his way over here. Always donating to charity, Harry was. Nothing else to do with his money, I suppose.
Yes. Now, have you anything else at all? I mean, anything to strengthen your faith in these statistics?
Yes. Yes, I suppose I have. I had an invitation.
An invitation?
Yes, read it, Adamant, read it. You see, it's addressed to me, and you can also see it states the precise time.
Tonight?
Yes, tonight. It's remarkable, don't you think? An invitation to die. That's absurd, of course.
The Gentlewomen's Charity League. It's a club in Pall Mall.
We have already ascertained that fact, thank you.
But I can tell from the heraldry. I've studied it. I didn't have to look it up.
A strange coincidence. I am familiar with the building. Previously, it was known as the Armory, and before that as Muffins. As a matter of fact, I was a founder member. Indeed, they made me a life member, though I doubt if they realized it would be for so long.
Life membership? But this one hasn't been going long. We did it under instant heraldry.
Mr. Adamant has studied instant history, miss.
Extraordinary. It has become a club for ladies. The feminine answer to the Athenaeum. May I have the flag, Miss Jones?
Great.
I would hardly have thought that such an establishment would appeal to you.
Why not? It'll be deliciously stuffy in there, and besides, I can go in. They're not likely to take you for a lady.
Certainly not, Miss Jones. You can quite obviously not afford the subscription, and this is one place that I would like to visit on my own, if you don't mind.
Yes, I do. I want to come too.
Certainly not. Now, have you the flag?
But that's not fair. A club for women. It's perfect. I'd be able to help easily.
In what way, Miss Jones?
Hundreds of ways.
The flag, sir.
I beg your pardon? Thank you, Sims.
But you can't go without me. Stop him. He might get in with the wrong sort of women.
Highly unlikely, miss.
Ladies, please. We might have to pass that on to the subcommittee, Mrs. Tudor. We want something more sophisticated, and I'm afraid tying ourselves to the railings is not enough.
But thank you so much for the suggestion.
We need to be practical, ladies. World peace has to be fought for. Not on battlefields, but in negotiations.
But we're still going to have garden parties and flag days, aren't we, Charity?
Of course.
World peace has to be made respectable.
And with the backing of your distinguished names, ladies, it is.
More tea, anyone?
No, thank you.
Naturally, we meet with opposition. We expect opposition in a world ruled by men. But we know how to deal with it, don't we?
Yes, of course we do.
I think perhaps we'd better call the meeting closed now. Other matters can be passed on to our operational subcommittee.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Yes, Prudence?
A visitor, madam. He's waiting in the hall with Randolph.
Adam de Vere Llewellyn Adamant.
You know, you'll find the mark of a throwing knife in the paneling somewhere, if you care to look.
Is that so?
Yes. It really hasn't changed at all.
Is that so?
Hello, William. We used to call him William. It's an old custom, you know. I'm delighted to see him still on duty, even in a ladies' club.
It has a special significance for some of our members, Mr. Adamant.
Really, madam?
The horror of war.
Oh, I see. Poor William.
Mr. Llewellyn.
Ah, Adam Adamant, madam, at your service.
Oh, how silly of me. Of course, Mr. Adamant. He's rather handsome, isn't he, Charity?
Shh, my dear. You don't want to embarrass Mr. Adamant. Please excuse her. My name is Charity. This is Faith and Hope. We long since dispensed with surnames.
China tea.
You're very kind.
We have some sherry if you like, or barley wine.
Mr. Adamant hasn't come to drink sherry, Faith, I'm sure.
Surely it's unusual for a gentleman to visit a ladies' club.
Yes, it is indeed unusual, madam, but I have two very good reasons for doing so.
Oh. What are they?
Well, firstly, these exquisite premises. You see, a long time ago, I was fortunate enough to be a member of a club which used this very building. Thank you. And I was hoping for the privilege of looking it over once again.
And secondly?
I should like to make a contribution to your excellent campaigns for peace.
We shall, of course, be delighted, Mr. Adamant.
Not at all. Not at all, madam. To contribute to such a worthy cause is, I assure you, balm to the soul. I wonder if I may look in here. It used to be my favorite
I'm
library.
sorry, Mr. Adamant. We can only allow our full members in there.
Oh, I see. How interesting. May I offer you 100 guineas for your cause?
That's extremely generous of you, Mr. Adamant. But we do have our rules.
And we have to consider our lady members' privacy.
I see. Forgive me.
Anywhere else, of course, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
Prudence can show you round. Prudence, my dear, Mr. Adamant would like to explore the building. Would you care to conduct him?
I'm sure that I shall find the rest of the building equally interesting, ma'am. Your servant, madam. Ladies, after you.
I think we ought to start with the upstairs, don't you?
As you wish, madam.
A dangerous man.
Oh, yes.
Just a man.
A gentleman. Well, a dangerous gentleman.
I noticed a tendency to the old warlike attitude. Something in his manner which suggests that he positively thrives on battle.
And a flag in his lapel. Where did he get it? Where?
Oh, dear.
What are we going to do?
I think we may have to find a way of dealing with him. Perhaps you could think of something.
Oh.
That's early 18th century. It's private because it's the initiation room. We have certain ceremonies at the induction of full members from the general membership.
Yeah, I see. Secret right.
The members like it. They consider it a high honor to be chosen for full membership. You know how we women love secrets, Mr. Adamant. Or may I call you Adam?
Well, I think that might be a little imprudent, Miss Prudence.
What's in a name?
Well, in your case, I should hope an ideal.
Oh, no. I was misnamed.
And your friends, Faith, Hope, and Charity. Were they misnamed?
But they're older than me, aren't they?
Yes, considerably.
My friend is called Abstinence. She drinks like a fish.
I really think perhaps we ought to move on.
Do you always do what you ought to do?
Invariably, madam. But sometimes in a most unexpected way. Perhaps that saves me from countless embarrassments.
This is my room.
Yes, that is precisely my point.
Be careful, Adam. I may get cross. Hell hath no fury and all that.
Nor can beauty be its own guardian, madam.
All's forgiven. For the moment. I thought you were a generous man.
That compliment, I'm afraid, must be reserved to the man who bought that flag, madam.
Then where did you get it?
Harry Marshall.
Friend or colleague?
Now, I was hoping that you would tell me that.
I don't know anything about your friends. Why should I?
Why, indeed?
And even if I did know, I couldn't tell you now. Unless you come to my room, of course.
Yes, well, I'm afraid I have a pressing engagement, which I cannot possibly avoid. Fetch my cloak, would you, young man?
We know what is to happen at tomorrow's meeting in Geneva. We've been told how it could easily lead to war.
It won't. Our new full member is now initiated, so the plan will go ahead.
Good. They frighten me. Some of them look so harmless. Men like Marshall and Jarrett.
But Mr. Adamant doesn't look harmless, does he, Charity?
We have him on the agenda. Perhaps Mr. Chairman might care to move a motion deciding what we should do with him.
Or I could.
Good evening, ladies.
Good evening, Randolph.
May I declare the meeting of the operational subcommittee open? The first item on the agenda for this evening is the tragic demise of Walter Harrison Jarrett.
I have sealed the tradesman's entrance, so all that remains is that door.
You'll not mention this to Mrs. Jarrett?
Oh, my dear sir.
Oh, I've been trying to think why. If it's just a threat, what is it they want?
I can only assume that someone wishes to prevent you from attending that meeting in Geneva.
Yes, but why? It's not important. It's just a load of useless chatter. And anyway, why warn me? Oh, they're either bluffing or they're very sure of themselves.
Surely there is nothing we have conceivably overlooked.
We respectfully invite you to join with us in spirit by terminating your mortal existence this evening promptly at 10.
Now, I can assure you, Mr. Jarrett, that is one invitation that you will not possibly be in a position to accept.
I hope not.
What invitation is that, dear?
Oh, nothing, my love. Just business.
I see. But I can tell something's worrying you, darling. You're not yourself. Hey, you're not yourself at all.
Yes, I'm all right. Oh, there's nothing for you to worry about. But why don't you go to bed?
What a very good idea. Why don't you both go to bed?
Both of us?
Yes, it's the safest place.
It's all right, my darling. I'll explain it to you later.
I've searched the bedroom thoroughly. Nothing can possibly go wrong.
Thank you.
Good night.
Night. But I don't understand. I mean, it's perfectly
It is a
ridiculous.
foolish prank, madam. A foolish prank by some of our friends. I assure you, there's nothing to worry about. Nothing.
Friends.
was that, dear?
The club.
You know, darling, I think it's all right to tell you what that was all about now.
Oh, I must have got the wrong flat. It's so difficult. I've had a terrible job working it out. I'm trying to find a Mrs. Jarrett.
Well, you have the right address, madam.
Oh, you must be a relative. We were so sorry to hear about poor Mr. Jarrett. Would you please try to convey our condolences?
Mrs. Jarrett, what happened?
He's dead. My husband. He's dead.
Don't overdo it, Hope. You know I loathe flowers.
They give me pleasure. There's nothing crude and vulgar about flowers, nothing embarrassing.
He will come, won't he?
Of course he'll come. He'll want to know about the wreath, won't he? Now, don't forget what you're supposed to say.
No, I won't. Mrs. Jarrett is now one of our full members. We thought it only right.
And don't overplay it.
No, Charity.
You're upset.
Yes, upset.
Don't talk about too much. We had a telephone call earlier today giving us the tragic news. We don't know who the caller was.
Yes, I know what to say. I hope he does come. And he's going to be very cross with us.
Good evening to you, sir.
I should like to see the committee at once.
Sure, they would be delighted to see you, sir, if you would care to leave your cloak. In the cloakroom, if you don't mind, sir.
I'm in charge of the cloakroom.
Miss Jones.
And it's initiation night. It could be interesting.
I expressly told you not to come here. You could be in severe danger.
You'd say the park swings were dangerous for me just to keep me out of the way. Well, I'm honorably employed. There's nothing you can do about it. There's a dreadful servant shortage, you know.
I must ask you to leave at once.
No, I've already found certain things out.
Whatever you have found out, Miss Jones, can only put you in severe jeopardy. These people are very, very ruthless.
I've seen the membership book. If I don't know all the faces, I certainly know all the names. They're in the papers all the time. Top people. Wives of top people, anyway.
Including Mrs. Jarrett, no doubt.
Including just about everybody who's
Yeah.
any...
My name is Mrs. Lightfoot. Mrs. Neville Lightfoot.
I'm sorry, let me take your coat. I'm new here. I don't know everyone just yet.
It's my big night tonight, you know, dear. Mrs. Jarrett was before me, but now it's my turn.
Oh, the initiation ceremony? What exactly happens?
Oh, I don't know. It's very secret. We're not allowed to tell anyone. But it's a great honor. Oh, yes. Yes, I've been just an ordinary member of this club ever since it started. And now I've been chosen elected to full membership.
Oh, I see. Does that mean you have special responsibilities?
Naturally, and special privileges, too.
Oh, sounds fascinating. What sort of privileges?
I'm not at liberty to divulge.
Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have asked.
Oh, you're not to know, dear. Being new. And anyway, I don't know quite myself. They don't tell you. How do I look?
Oh, lovely, madam. Oh, yes. Lovely.
Do you know, I can feel my heart beating. I wish my husband was with me.
Would you like me to come with you?
That's very kind of you, dear, but they wouldn't allow it.
We could try.
No, no. I shall be all right. Thank you, dear.
No, we don't know who could have called. Randolph took the message, but he said they rang off. We were so shocked, we didn't even think to ask.
Mrs. Lightfoot. We have to get you ready now, Mrs. Lightfoot. It won't take long. This way.
If you would excuse me, just for a moment.
I don't want anything to do with it, Randolph. You promised us that.
But have I ever asked you? I respect you completely. Your motives are unimpeachable in any final analysis, yours and faith and hope.
We try.
Oh, of course you do, superbly.
But don't you think Neville Lightfoot tomorrow...
Think only of the good you are doing, the calamities that you are preventing, the misdemeanors of powerful men like Neville Lightfoot, who tomorrow is due to sign a deadly arms contract, putting terrible weapons into the hands of ignorant men.
I'm sorry, Randolph. It's so easy for a woman to weaken now and then.
No. It is so much easier to have no purpose, no conscience, no resolve. You do know if there were an easier way.
Yes, Randolph, I know.
We must prevent him, as we must prevent everybody who stands in the way of peace. Now go.
Be able to see the initiation from my room. There's a trapdoor in the floor. It's immediately above the library.
Madam, while there remains another entrance, I could not possibly impose upon you.
But that's impossible. You couldn't get in there.
May I ask why you were so anxious to help me?
Must you?
Yes, I'm afraid I must.
I hoped you wouldn't. Tell me, would you say Randolph looked a kindly man?
Well, I don't really know, ma'am. I imagine he conducts himself according to his station.
I could tell you a lot about Randolph.
You dislike him?
I'm expected to. He likes me to dislike him.
What are you implying, madam?
Randolph also knows about that trapdoor, Mr. Adamant.
Oh. Oh, my dear lady.
That's why I'd like to help you.
Yes. Yes, I see. The initiation, ma'am. It is about to begin.
Will you run?
Are you a man who might take advantage?
Well, that depends on the situation, madam.
In this situation?
I'm afraid not. You forget, madam, I know this building. And this room is not above the library.
You are now a full member, Mrs. Lightfoot. Allow us to congratulate you.
Yes, we're so pleased.
Thank you.
Yes,
it's all right. Mrs. Lightfoot. Hello, dear.
There wasn't a lot to it.
How unfortunate for you, my dear.
Keep away from me. Both of you. I'll scream.
Do so by all means. Apart from the soundproofing, there is a celebration party going on in the reception room now.
So perhaps you would like to see just exactly what initiation is all about.
Now, who is she?
We don't know. She's new. Her name is Georgina Jones.
Yes, I know what her name is. And Miss Jones, I want to know who sent you here. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And you must answer truthfully, Miss Jones. Who sent you?
No one sent me.
What was she doing?
She got in somehow while we were initiating Mrs. Lightfoot.
What are we going to do with her?
Miss Jones, what do you know of Adam Adamant?
Adam Adamant. Yes, I know him.
She came today and he came today. They may know something. I'm afraid it is going to be necessary.
No, it's murder.
Either of them could spoil everything we've done. Everything that we have worked for.
Now, we don't want this. But the principle could be exactly the same as we use for the wives. She is already under hypnosis. All we have to do is to implant the suggestion. And it will lie dormant until activated by the telephone call. She will know nothing about it, either before or afterwards.
No. There must be another way, Randolph.
Strength, Charity, strength. I wouldn't mislead you, would I?
No.
Not to...
Very well, if you say so.
Try, if you can, not to think about it. Sometime this evening, when they least suspect, when they are presumably happy and content, this young girl will kill Adam Adamant. Won't be like murder at all.
I don't know exactly what happened. There was this badge thing. I remember that. And I went all sort of queer, and then we were coming home.
I'd like a little more detail, if you don't mind, Miss Jones.
Well, muzzy. And then there was this sound, and it got louder and louder, and
Yes.
then I had a headache.
Try this, miss.
Thank
With all due respect, sir, I once had an uncle in the antediluvian order of buffalo.
Sims, we're trying to concentrate.
I'm sorry, sir. I was only trying to be helpful. There's often a lot of drink in these clubs.
It's not in this one, Sims.
Oh, and they gave me this. I'm a full member now with special privileges.
What kind of privileges, Miss Jones?
Excuse me, sir.
No.
Yes.
Mr. Adamant's residence.
Who is it, Sims?
It's a Miss Jones, sir.
Me?
It's the club, the League of Gentlewomen.
Sims.
Sir.
The telephone.
Yes, sir?
That is what happened to Jared. It was the only way they could communicate with him, and the phone rang at exactly 10 p.m. What was the message, Miss Stewart?
That will give you a nasty jab.
Worse than that, Sims. That is poison. The weapon of a woman.
I think now that we ought to promote Mrs. Tudor, Mrs. Wright, and Mrs. Winter to full membership.
3 at once?
Oh, why not? After all, their husbands are dangerous men. I suggest that we increase our activities, having started them so successfully.
But we have to stop somewhere, don't we? There's an end to it all, isn't there?
And there's an end to war, dear lady.
But it was to be only when necessary, Randolph. When absolutely necessary.
But look at the good that we have done. Look at the power-hungry men who no longer exist, the crises that we have managed to avert. We have disrupted organizations designed to lead us into war.
No, we must wait.
I'm afraid that I must insist. Now, with such power at your disposal to do good charity, you are scarcely being charitable, are you?
I think the Honourable Neville Lightfoot tomorrow morning is quite sufficient.
No. No, we mustn't fall out, must we? We must be peaceful. Peaceful. Now, haven't I always advised you for the best? Haven't my methods of hypnotism always worked? Have we ever had any complaint from anyone? Even a widow?
No. But someone may suddenly be suspicious if there are suddenly too many widows in the club.
Like Mr. Adamant.
Mr. Adamant is something of an exception. And if anyone else should become suspicious, well, then we could always invite their wives to become full members, couldn't we?
Randolph, I do not like the way things are going.
Well, you'll just have to, won't you, all of you?
Randolph.
Unless, of course, anyone has any ideas about going to the police.
That sounds like a threat.
No, not a threat, not even a warning. I would not be so unchivalrous as to take advantage. But I insist all the same.
Very well.
Good. Good, I'm delighted. I shall go and prepare the tape for our 3 initiates. And perhaps somebody would be kind enough to send some flowers to Mr. Adamant just to show how extremely sorry we all are. Good night, lady.
They're not the only women in your power, Randolph.
No, the cleverest, my dear. It's not necessarily going to get you anywhere.
No?
No, you'll have to improve yourself.
I've sold it to the devil. How much did we get for them?
Who? Who?
You know very well who. Marshall and Jarrett.
I hold the purse strings. You wash the dishes.
But I want to know, was it 1,000, 2,000, or what? How much did our Eastern friends pay us?
Tut, such queen.
I tell you one thing that should make you happy, though. We got paid twice for Jarrett. 2 countries were after him.
And Mr. Adamant?
Oh, I can think of several people we might submit a statement to for services rendered. Oh, by the way, don't forget to pay a visit on Mrs. Lightfoot tomorrow, just to pay our respects.
Well, carry on. I just made a cup of coffee. You'd like one?
Now you may phone your husband and tell him to return.
But aren't you going to explain what
No,
happened?
that will not be necessary. But you must not attend that club again. There. It's all right. It's all right. Sit down. Sit down. Please, you must say nothing. I'm very sorry you had to do this, but otherwise the suggestion could have remained. Do come in. I have been expecting you.
Keep away from
That's
me.
quite all right, Miss Prudence. I have no intention of molesting you. I would like you to thank the committee for sending those flowers and tell them they will not be necessary. You may also tell them I shall be calling upon them to return the compliment. Your servant.
Well, of course, that was the decision of the committee.
I didn't expect to be nominated for full membership so soon. Did you, Emily?
Oh, no, indeed I didn't, and it's such an honor.
Well, it's been decided. You're all to be taken in at once. That is, of course, if you accept the nomination.
Of course we accept.
Oh, indeed.
How could we refuse?
We have high hopes for all of you.
Thank you.
Then shall we proceed?
Thank you very much, you're most kind.
Young lady, what is it you want?
I want to see the committee.
Now, that won't be possible. Just at the moment, I'm afraid they're engaged.
I don't care.
That isn't how well brought up young ladies should talk, is it? Perhaps I can help you.
I just want to resign my membership. Where are they? Thank you.
Ah, you're back. Things are just getting interesting.
Yes, they are. Mr. Adamant is still alive. I've just left him.
So you didn't succeed, did you? Adam Adamant knows everything now, so there's nothing you can do.
Mr. Adamant?
Yes. You thought I'd killed him, didn't you, with this? Well, all I can say is that you...
Stop it! Stop it! You know altogether too much, young lady.
She's only a child, Randall.
Don't worry, I'm not going to kill her. There are 3 perfectly respectable ladies who can do it for me. Now, watch her. Mrs. Winter, Mrs. Tudor, Mrs. Wright. These are your new instructions, countermanding all others. I turn around. In the manner just described to you, you will kill the young woman in front of you.
No, Randolph, I do not agree. Not this time, nor any other time from now on.
But she must die, dear lady. Surely you can see that.
No, I can't. It gains us nothing. It does not advance our cause. It's simply murder.
And what do you think that you have been doing? Isn't that murder?
That had a purpose. A noble purpose.
Did it. And what would you do if I told you that it had no purpose whatever? Misguided old maid. Nothing to do with world peace, I'm afraid. Money.
Randolph, you have deceived us.
Dear lady, the world has deceived you.
No, I don't believe that. You must stop him, Charity.
You can't.
I can. I can go to the police. I can denounce you, Randolph.
Consider yourself, if you like, dear lady, a martyr.
You wouldn't dare.
No. No!
Oh, we shall hold your memory in the greatest respect. Perhaps a plaque or even a memorial to all of you. Faith, hope, and charity, these 3.
My dear lady.
He's mad. Randall's mad.
Oh, please, don't try to talk. Please.
No, I'm going to die. You must save the girl.
Who?
Georgina.
Come to protect the ladies, have you? The slightest nick, Adamant.
Oh, madam, I'm sorry.
I don't know what came over us.
Please don't cry. Oh, hi. Drink this. This will help you.
My dear Miss Jones, another example of your devious femininity. I'm glad to say.
Hey, Mr. Adamant! Wait for me!
Are our two worlds so far apart? Reaching for your heart was reaching for a star. Is it that I arrived too late, instrument of fate? Is that all you are in one simple play? You may think he's a charmer, but death is the life he has